Good afternoon, world. It is Monday, April 6th, and I'm in one of my favorite places in my house, which is my parlor, right next to my small little library down here. And this message is about learning today. And I'm in this room in particular because this is exactly what I like to do in this room when I have like 2 minutes of time is learn. But I was thinking about this kind of objectively and from like a meta scale, like where does learning come from, right? Where does learning come from? And two ways that I was thinking of is it kind of comes from this idea of like the unknown, right? And it also comes from our ability to share. And so what I do, and I promise you I will tie back into that in a moment, but what I do on like a regular basis when I don't have time to read, which is like right now with the kids and work and everything, is just grab a bunch of random books and just throughout the day or two or three or four sometimes, I'll just pick through them and find kind of concepts in them that I've either highlighted in the past or have sticky noted and written about or have written down some notes on regarding like some of the stuff in the book that I like. I'm just always trying to figure out the best way to like categorize and like quantify learning based on like what it is that we're like I'm seeing here. But and then meaning that I'm trying to always figure out the best way to come up with ideas on how to organize my thoughts when reading is I guess the more articulate way to put it. And one thing that I did come up with all of these is that idea of learning, right? And so in Stephen Kotler's book and Jamie Wheel's Stealing Fire, they talk about going beyond the pale and this concept of going beyond the pale. And what that means and where that terminology comes from is when the British invaded Ireland and they would stick a pole in the ground, and that pole was their flagpole, and that was the pale. And anything beyond that was the unknown. It was beyond the pale, right? Very similar to where we are right now. We're very much in a world where we are beyond the pale. But, where the pale, that transition could often lead to panic, can also often lead to being afraid. But once beyond the pale, when you start finding comfort in the discomfort, I put forward to you that that is one avenue that learning begins, right? Where you start to find things that are unknown to you and you start mapping pieces of the unknown and making sense out of what wasn't necessarily there before. So I hope that in this time, right, and in all times, years from now or tomorrow, that, you move past your own personal pale, right, your own stake in the ground to find comfort in the unknown, in the discomfort. And, along that same line is lessons start to come to us, right? But now we have these lessons, right? We started learning, right? That's the kind of like the circling back to these concepts of where we learn and how we learn. And two of these ways that I'm putting forward is to kind of go beyond the unknown and finding comfort in the discomfort. And once we're there, beyond the pale, mapping these things that haven't been seen before by us and we don't necessarily know them, we have one ability of a track to kind of learn. The other then starts taking place, and there's many of these I'm sure to learn, right? But another is what Seneca talks about. And he writes, and I quote, here it is. Part of my joy in learning is that it puts me in a position to teach. Lost my position here. Puts me in a position to teach. Nothing, however, outstanding and however helpful will ever give me any pleasure if the knowledge is to be for my benefit alone. Say that one more time. Nothing, however outstanding and however helpful, will ever give me any pleasure if the knowledge is to be for my benefit alone. Okay. Why do we share knowledge? Why do we want to go on road trips with people? Why do we want to go to the movies with people? Why do we want to sit down and watch a movie with folks? Why do we want to sit at our dinner table with people? Besides that human connection we want to share. That's how we learn. We teach. That's how we grow. We move together through this time and space element here, right? To move beyond the pale is one thing, right? But going beyond it with another, whether disconnected in this kind of digital element or side by side is meaningful. Make the connections. Make the connections to teach. To teach is a gift. To teach is an art, and to teach is a gift to both yourself and to the other person, right? And I'm not talking about the teacher per se. I'm talking about the one who is the educator, the one who is not necessarily the professional teacher, right? But the one who's willing to share what they've learned beyond the pale. And finally, on this kind of like quest for connecting the dots, is E.E. Cummings. It's not from this book per se, but it is from an old college friend who transcribed one of his works for me. And it goes, and I'll just read the end here, and I'll spare you all the other details. I'd rather learn from one bird how to sing than teach 10,000 stars how not to dance. I'd rather learn from one bird how to sing than teach 10,000 stars how not to dance. To learn, my friends, to learn is a beautiful gift. It is a something that you can continue to give as you go beyond the limits of what you do indeed know. And I hope that while there is lots of ambiguity in these times, that we have the ability to search within ourselves, within our libraries, within our homes, within our friends and families, to find knowledge that we didn't necessarily have, and take that knowledge and share it universally with the ones who we can connect with. And we can certainly connect during these times, and I hope you do. Either way, I wish you a happy Monday, my friends. Have a great day.